morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. So very quickly, if you give me 2 seconds, let me just I inform you guys that yesterday the webinar I did was basically for our group that I normally do. But I got a few messages from some traders and I decided they were asking some questions. So I decided I'm going to post it out on YouTube. It is an impromptu decision. I didn't record that for YouTube because of the explanations. I give a lot of very detailed explanations. It probably shouldn't be for YouTube. But I decided, it's coronavirus, people are struggling, let's give them some free gift. And without any explanation as to that, to the wider public in YouTube about the video that it will come. So a lot of people in YouTube are asking, hey, you're coming back? Well, I will post today's video with the explanation. No, I'm not coming back to YouTube as a full-time regular trader in YouTube, right? You can still get my daily webinars. If you like what you see yesterday, and if you like this one that you will see today, you can still get these webinars and you can get them daily. If you want them, just send me a Skype message. Let me just put the Skype message out here once. MANGAL 457. Send me a Skype message and you will get the details of how you can get these daily webinars if you like it. There wouldn't be a regular weekly webinar or daily webinar on YouTube, not as yet. I probably should have explained that before I post the video out, but that was an impromptu decision. This video is going to be on YouTube, so I'm explaining to you guys. You can join my Facebook page, which is ProWave, and you would see when I do free webinars, which is I do them regularly. I do a weekly free webinar. Coming up in July, there will be 3 weeks of free webinars. So if you want to get those 3 weeks of free webinars, go to my Facebook page, set your notification to give you, set your settings to give you notification when I do these free webinars, so you will get them. And follow me there. I don't write a lot of things, so you wouldn't be worried very much. Right? It's not like every day you'll get a message. That is for those of you who will be watching this one today if you like it, right? So that's all the explanation. Let's go. Let's start. So yesterday, I was explaining in details how you would manage the silver trade if you were tagged in this trade, right? That is, if you were tagged in the trade, you would wait for this to pull back. And if it goes slowly like this, you would close the trade. That's what you would do. You can close it anywhere in here, right? So let's assume you didn't close it on the first green candle because you didn't know that this one. So you see this start to come back. You can close the trade here. You can close the trade here, right? You can close this trade anywhere. That was your loss if your stop was here. Right, that's how you manage it. And I also said that when you close that trade, two ways you could have closed it. You could have closed it here, or you could have put a stop here. And then you would put an entry order there if you get this, because there's a chance they're going to fall and they could come back to retest this low. Well, looks like they're going to do that. So remember, if you get a sudden drop like this, there's a high probability they will correct this to some extent. They will not just drop. You can go back and look at it, right? When you get a sudden drop, they pull back very deep into it. When you get a sudden drop, they pull back very deep into it, right? They always pull back into any drop you get. That's wave analysis. That's what we do here. So if you get that sudden drop, you have a choice. Close the trade right at this area, wait for this pull back, and then decide if you want to get back in. Or keep your stop where it should be, which means your stop should have been above here. Keep your stop there until this starts to pull back for like the B wave. And then you can exit the trade right in here. The best exit would be not this first pullback. You probably wouldn't be able to exit there. You might not even see it. You might be in panic. You might be a little worried. You shouldn't put break even so fast. You could move the stop to this level if you want. But this would eventually come back here if they were going to go. So your exit will still be break even. You would always wait for this. There are rare cases when it does that. Very rare. And in this case, because we are breaking structurally, that is why structure is important. I'm going to go a little more details here because this is going to a wider audience. That is why structure analysis is important. It's not, I think if you watch my yesterday video, you would get the impression that, oh, you just need to put these, move these stops, put these plays, and that's easy. No, everything I explained yesterday was based on wave analysis. Now, my traders very much understand what I said because they understand wave analysis and the entire structure. If you're watching my yesterday video, you probably would have some difficulties understanding why I'm saying putting it here, move here, how to manage this and so. So once this is dropping, you wouldn't be hurried. There would be no rush to move this stop because Remember, we're not expecting this to continue there. We're expecting this to come here and then go there. So if you're in this drop, breaking out of that structure, you will keep your stop until you can move it to break even, not in the first pullback, maybe in the, if it comes back and start to go back up, well, definitely you want break even, right? But as it drops, you can put that to break even because you don't want it to go back a second time up. That would be worry, right? The first pullback is not the problem. So if you got out of that trade for profit, then you should have got out from that. Once this drop here, this is where you can track it to get out. You start to see this and you know you're going to get. So what we're doing, we're making a flag. We've had that situation before. Let me see if I can find it right here for you. Maybe right in this chart somewhere. Yep, you kind of drop, you pull back, you drop, then you do a correction, you drop. See, they get a sharp one here, and then they do a correction and they drop. So we've seen that where you get this sharp pullback, a sharp one down, and then you get a correction here and you drop. Actually, in here, there's in a 5-minute, you'll find contracting flats. We're not going to go there. That's not the purpose of this webinar. So I wouldn't be surprised if this works its way up and drop again, which means we will look for the sell setup. Your stop now would have to be above this stop because that's your impulse stop. Now, remember, I'm not making trade calls, just in case you're watching these videos. These are just my views of how I trade the market using wave analysis. Now, if you're very good at wave analysis, if you're part of our team, if you're in our group, you would understand everything I say. If not, you might have difficulties. And I understand if you have difficulties understanding this. You just send me a Skype message and you will know how you can get access to it and how you can learn it. So let's go. Watch this. We're expecting more downside, and the next trade should bring us to this level. Hopefully we get that today, and then we'll be looking for buy setups. So if you're using the option strategy we use, which is the option and spot strategy, you will wait for this to probably do this or start breaking, and you can put your option here. You can buy your put right here. So we'll buy the put so we can manage it. We'll put another one here. And I'll change the color of this one to green. That's buying a put, right? You're buying a put there for the trade to the upside. That is, you're buying your stop loss now. Great. If you're watching this from the general public, you have no idea what I just said. That's a strategy we use. And I'm specifically showing you that we have other strategies. So we would look for this. When this starts to break, it's going to come here and then it's going to go up. You guys know how to calculate this, the timeline for the option. I'm not going to explain that here, but you know how to calculate it, right? All the moves you need to happen, and you double the time. So let's go. If you get this right and it falls way down, good, you'll be making a ton of money. If you get it wrong and it doesn't reach this level but start to go back, we will still buy, right? Give it a lot of time, we will still buy. If you could, you might be able to use this many times if this move continues to go down, right? So let me give you that option. So let's assume we're wrong about this being a correction. Let's just assume for that simple person. Let's assume this is going to drop here, make a correction, drop, make a correction, drop, make a correction, drop. It's not going to go back up. All right, let's just assume that. And you have your option here. You can see, right? Your buy comes here, go there, put the break even, earn profit, drop, buy here, go back up, put the break even, drop. This is building you money, right? You can get 2 break even or 2 profit, but you're building money. Your trade is if it goes up there. But you're making money. Remember, you're not losing money. You're still making money here, and you're making tons of money. The option is making money for you. So that's the good part of it, right? The worst part of it is if they just drop to this level and then start to go up. We will still buy here. If we get a buy setup, we'll still buy, and you wouldn't have to put a stop loss. It goes up a little, you'll put the break even. What if it drop again? Well, good. Good for you, right? Remember, this still has value. Even if it goes here and come back, it still has value. Or even if it's going to go up, time-wise, you can just cut it. You're going to lose only a part of it, not the whole sum you buy it for, right? So if we realize it's not going to go there, but I mean, in this case, it's crystal clear you're going to get there. You're literally going to get at least to that level. So this is where the advantage comes in using that strategy. So let's go. Go back to the 1 hour. And if you want to use that or you want to test it, you can test it on a smaller lot size and you can trade the way you normally trade. So test it at a smaller lot size, a very cheap one. It should be the cost of 1 trade. or 2 trades if you want, depending on how you treat it. So that's the cost of it, right? That's not, don't buy it more. You could buy it for half the lot size. You would have the amount of money you're going to spend on a single trade just to test it. And let's see how it goes. This is going to correct some more, and then we're looking for a sell setup. Gold broke the top. So remember I said when they break that up, we have to be careful, because from that point we can go down. If we get a correction here today, a 1 hour correction, we don't have anything. It's kind of like drop here, pull back. If they make a correction here for a while, then we look for sell setups. Buy setups, we don't have any. There is no buy setup in this. At least I would not buy this flag here now at the very top of a structure. I mean the weekly top of a structure. You're not going to buy a 1 hour flag here. You want to see a correction like this before you decide you're going to take a 1 hour flag here to go. Because you're the very top of a structure, they have to make a deep correction before you get a very good impulse to go. I think all of you know that, right? So dollar index, if you bought it, you're doing well. If you bought this, you're doing well. We expected to go break this top, and it turns out it's more of an expanding flat for us as we anticipated. So this trade is going. If you get flags, you buy. Break the top, and then we will decide if it's coming down or if it is going to continue to go. Both options are open, right? Because of where we are in the bigger time frame. Because of this whole structure, this thing could do 2 things right now. We're going to expect it to come a little more, at least break this top. Very better first if they break that top. And then 2 ways we would look at it. We'll wait to see whether we're going to get continuation, this as a flat of its own for continuation, or whether this is just going to continue to go up for another impulse like that. And as you can see, both of those possibilities exist. Now, there's a higher probability for the upside. That is because we have divergence. But divergence never means the end of the move. All of you know that. You know the rules. They can have another drop, another correction, another drop, another correction, another drop, and you will keep having divergence here. That will not change. So just be careful. Go with the 1 hour trade. If we get any flag today, it's a buy. I don't see any flag forming right now, so we'll have to wait on that. Euro, same here. If you took that trade, and that was a trade you should have taken, we call that trade. If you take that trade, you would want to put it to break even. Once it drop here, pull back and goes, you put that to break even, right? Because it dropped this one, it pulled back 1, 2 hour, 3 hour, it's already going down. So if you put the break even on the 3rd hour or the 4th hour, it's still going. So you're good with that trade. So your entry order was here. You got that, sorry. You could put the entry order or breakout, either is the same place. So let me change the color of this. Yeah. You got tagged on that. 1, this one dropped here, pull back. You're not closing the trade on the first pullback. So 1, 2, this one gone, you put it to break even, it keeps going. You're in the trade. You can leave that at break even. You can move your stops to this level if you want. And now you would be waiting for them to break the low. We anticipate that this could be. If you're following me for the whole week, we said be careful, we want one of that, and then we expect them to come down back. So how far? At least come to break this low. Most likely they'll break this low. So we're going to put it as breaking this low as well. And at this point, they will tell us, continue to go up or continue, reverse and go up or continue to go down. We'll know that, right? Very soon we'll know that. So you have a trade, and then at this point, we'll decide what to do with that trade. Bang. Same thing, right? Your stop should be here. And well, we didn't have any flag here, so I don't think you put, unless you put an entry order here. We didn't have any flag. Now you might get a correction here, but it's going to be a short-lived one, right? So this might come back a little here. You might get a running flat. You can put an entry order. It might drop to this level. You'll have to take profit. Don't keep this one. This doesn't have the euro option. It's possible, but we don't have the euro option. It's possible that this could come back and retest the low. Sorry, put this here. It moved a little. Let me just go. This could come and retest the low. You could put it to break even and leave it if you want. But if they drop very fast, I would put, depends on how far they drop, but take profit and then try to re-enter again. So we're looking at this as a possible running flat, the same thing we discussed. And this might come here. And then from there, we'll see whether they go back up or whether they drop. There's a high probability for this to come back here, because we do have divergence, and we can take this as a complete correction in there. It's possible. So let's see how this behaves. We're getting one more drop. Go for the trade. Aussie, nothing new, right? We forecast this going up there and then coming down, and that is what it's doing. Let's go to the 1 hour for the trade. Remember, Aussie will come back and break this low. Aussie is not one I would trade. They'll probably come break this low, and they can totally go up after that because this could be a flat of its own. If this drops really hard, well, then we will consider more downside coming, right? But if it's just stops short of the low, which means they just break the low and look like they're going to turn, well, they really have to be good. This one actually turned out to be a contracting flat. Remember yesterday we spoke about this probably being a contracting flat. I think it is. It turned out it could be a contracting flat. So if you get a flag here, you could sell to break that low. I think the better one would be the euro than the Aussie, but I'm very wrong about which one is the better one. Both will go. I don't always get it right which one goes further, right? So let's see if we get a flag here today. We confirm that. Can this, by the way, let me just explain this to you if you're not wave analysis trader. Why do we want a flag here? Because this thing could still do this. We don't have a buy setup, but it could do this. And if it does that, then we will relook at this piece to see whether this will still come here, do this, and then come. We've seen that happen. We're not doing pattern, for traders who are not in my group, we're not discussing every pattern with you here in detail. I'm giving you my view of what could happen today and what you would look for today. So for today, we would expect some consolidation here, and then if we get it, we look for a trade down. If we don't get that and this starts to go up, we'll look for an entry, especially if we notice that that is what it's going to do. So for now, we're looking at this possible pattern. I said possible pattern because the pattern could be more complex than the simplicity at which we're looking at it, right? Sometimes we think it's 3 waves and then it turned out 5 and 7 and 9. I think I don't have to explain that, right? If you're a wave analysis trader, you know that. So let's see if we get this trade here and then we'll go with that. New Zealand, pretty much the same thing. New Zealand is just more of a regular flat. Remember I said, watch it when they come to the top, you're looking for a sell back to the bottom because you get a flat. This one actually tagged the low. I think more of a regular flat. You would sell this here, but I would not sell this here. Why? Because all they need to do is do this and that pattern is completed. If they want to go up, if this structure is going to go up from here, anywhere from here it could take off. If it is going to continue to go down, well, I would allow it to break here, make a correction here, and then start trading because this will give me one more impulse, and every correction after that will give me another impulse. So now I could have confidence that they're probably going to go and tag the low again, right? I don't know that they're going to come back and tag this low. Remember, we got this right to the top. But the question at the top there, are they going to come back and tag the low? This is actually a very aggressive move, and I don't see any reason for that to come back, tag the low. Even in this structure, I think this structure could be completing itself right now at this point, right? We will see. There's a good chance they'll break out. If they come, break the low and start to go up, we will definitely be buying, right? We don't know that for now, how that structure will behave at that point. This is what we're in. This is a corrective structure. Remember, this is your 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3 up there. Then you get this one, then you get this one. And at this point, I think this could totally do that. You could get a sharp move like this, then get a deeper correction again, then go again, and then you will have something like 1, 2, 3. Very possible. Now, is it going to do that now? I don't know that. Remember, this is a monthly chart I'm showing you. It's only in the weekly, but it's a monthly chart. So if we break out of this, we're definitely in a long-term uptrend. If we break out of this now, that would be a long-term uptrend. So this flag here now is very important. If they break the low and they start to go up, we will look for buy setups. That becomes a long-term uptrend. Something like this keep going up, right? It's going to go up very far. Go back to the 4 hour, and we are at the point where they're going to tell us if this is going to break the low and start to go up. That's a trade we want, right? That is a trade. We will get it somewhere here. No need to worry. We're going to get an entry there. Right, like we got this entry and we got that entry and we got many more of these up and down here, right? So we'll see what happens there. If this is going to come back to the bottom, let it break first. Don't sell this today. Let it break first, then make a correction, then we start selling. There's a lot to the bottom if they're going to retest it. So go back to the 1 hour. This one, even if it gets a sell setup, I don't think we should take it. The risk to reward is no good, right? I'll take this off. That is the top already. So let's go to the yen. Okay. It's coming up as we expected. This would have been a perfect buy setup if any one of you took it to the upside. And now we will have to decide right at this point whether this is going to make a running flat, come back here and then go. Or if this is going to continue to go and we will go with this as only correction here. Now, I am more inclined to go with the running flat. I think all of you know why. So here's what I'm going to do. If I'm going to be buying this, I need a very good correction, not a small flag, because a small flag will just tip the top and drop. That has happened many times. You got tagged on the flag and then you watch it drop back to the low. So what I need here is not a small flag. I need a correction. I need this to make a correction that will guarantee me an impulse like this that could give me break even if they're going to come back down. See, if I don't get that, I'm not going with this trade. I will go with it much later. I will still go with it, but only if I get that correction. So you're looking for a correction, something like this, that could give you at least another impulse. Something like this, give you another impulse for a possibility to break even if you're wrong on the upside. I would be very careful. It looks very much like, and you know, we know that when we see this, we're absolutely looking for a running flat. And most of the times we get the running flat. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes here and then start to go back up. In the big picture, we can go up, right? In the big picture, this thing can go up right now. We just broke the low. So in the big picture, this move to the upside is very, very valid. The question is this the one going to go, or are we going to retest the low and then go? That's the only question right now you have. It's not whether it's going to go up. We know that. We're looking at this and we're saying, it looks very much upside, right? The reversal points, everything is there intact for that. If it is going to go up, we will get in the trade. You just don't want to get in right now here at this point, unless you get a good correction, which is that we're not going to get in today. We're going to get in tomorrow. If we're waiting for that correction, the trade is going to be tomorrow, not today. Got it? Magic, right? Remember I said we're going to keep these. The only thing I took off from here is the fib, right? Because I was fibbing this one down for you to show you how far this could go to about a 2.7. It came close. It didn't hit the 2.7, but it came close. So up from there. Works, right? Works like magic every time. We did this. We forecast the downside. We're forecasting the upside. You can buy. If you bought into it already, you're doing good. If you're not, you're still getting flags here to buy, right? You're getting another flag here. That means it's another buy. And I think they're going to go more. Big picture, they can go quite a lot. If you look at the bigger structure, this could be a correction. This here could be a correction. And this one could be going back to retest the top. Not that I think they will do that, but it could go. What we'd be careful of is if you get this, put it to break even, because this could also be a flat that might go one more and then go up, right? See? They could make more flats and they could make more flats and they could make more flats going down like this, slowly, slowly, slowly like this. But you'll get a chance if you get a flag. The worst case is you'll get break even out of that trade. I think you will take this trade because of the possibility that it could go. The risk to rewards is amazing if it goes, but you don't know that it's going to go, right? So you take the trade, you manage your risk, you know how much you're going to lose if you're wrong, and if you're very good at it, the probability is you're going to get a break even if you're wrong. Swiss, same here. This one we actually showed you sorry, this was the one we put the fib on, not the cat. My apologies. Same structure, but we didn't put the fib. We put the fib on this one. Show you it's going to come to the 270, and it actually came to the 270, even a little lower. You had your buy set up here yesterday. I said you should take the trade and how you would manage the trade. You put your entry order there. You should have taken the breakout, which means you should have got in here. This is where you should have got in, not there. But regardless, it doesn't matter. You got in here. It tagged you. You see this one pull back, then 1, and then 2. Once you see this go here like that, 2, you're putting the break even. And you can leave it at break even. Remember I said you might want to leave this at break even because there's a probability of this coming out really, really fast. It didn't come out fast, but if you close the trade, if you did that and you said, you know what, I don't like this, I'm closing the trade here and putting another entry order here, you did well. You have a next entry order here, your stop should be here. Now, what are the chances of this coming back here and then taking off for a possible running flat there? Very high. So if you got tagged in that trade there, you got tagged in, let me just put it to show you if you got tagged there. Let's say you put the entry order here and you got tagged on the first green one. 1, 2, 3. It's not going anywhere. Let's give it one more candle. You can either wait for this to close or you can wait for one more. If this closes a little lower and pull back into that level, take it out, put your entry order here. Why? Because there's a good probability of this coming back much deeper here and then going back up. You don't have to live through it because you don't know that they're not going to do that and then go up. We don't know that. we're assuming that this is correct. So what you did is you just took your trade off of break even. Good, congratulations. And now you put it where you think, okay, if it's going to take off, if they're going to continue to go, I would actually like them to do this and then do that. And this would exactly be where your entry should be. If we're right about this, then I think this is what they're likely going to do, because we're going up. There's no question about the upside. And the reason we expect that, I mean, if the chart is doing everything we wanted to do so far, including this piece, this piece, this piece, this, and now it's even going back up as we wanted. Something is right about what we're doing, right? The analysis, something is right about this analysis. So it came here, we're expecting this to go first. The first place you'd be very careful is when you break this top. That's the first place, because breaking the top means you get a 1, 2, 3 pattern. They can go down. I think very likely we'll flip this for the 270. Let's flip the fib for the 270 to the upside, right? Because this one is no longer valid. The 270 to the upside is a 90% chance. And I think coming to the trend line, because of the pattern we are in, coming to the trend line, not the trend line is not a place you're looking for, but sometimes they come very close, not only to here, but to the trend line. And this is where, if they want to go down in this area, is where they're going to try to go back down one more. I think we're expecting this to break out because we have a perfect 1, 2, 3 here. We don't expect it to go much lower. Right? So remember when this was coming down, first we thought this might give you one more up and then come. But once we broke this structure, we said, okay, expect it to drop, break this low, and then go right back up. That's how the structure works. So we're coming to break this top. If it keeps going the way it's going, we're coming to break this top. And from that point, we will see whether it's going to be a continuation up or we will have a reversal to the downside. I think it's going to be a continuation. So good trade, go back to the 1 hour and see how you manage your trades and how you change. So for those of you who were not in the group or who are not in our installment and you're watching this video, consider yourself lucky. You've got some bonus explanation that you normally don't get in my weekly webinars when I do them. Aussie Swiss, let's go. I'm going to go quick now, right? The rest explanations later. Aussie Swiss, do nothing. Stay away from this. It's going down. I'll put this here. It's not valid as yet, but I think you know why I'm looking at it that way. I still think we might be in the consolidation. We might still be in the consolidation, which means we're still going to go back up. I'm not looking at a possible contracting flat as yet, right? So I'm not looking at this as a possible contracting flat as yet. I'm looking at this as a possibility of coming here, going back up there, then come down. Now, what if this is a contracting flat and this is going to fall? You have a choice. You have a choice that if you get a flag here, you go for this trade, put it to break even, and if they go back up, you get break even. If it drops, we'll go with the contracting flat. See? It's a choice. Not the best one, but if you trade this pair, then that's your choice. New Zealand Swiss didn't break the top, same thing. Is it the contracting flat? Or is it we're still in the correction? I'll put it as possibly being still in the correction. Take all of these off. Those are all explanations. We don't need them. We leave this for the top there. It could be we're still in the consolidation here. We're still in the consolidation zone, right? Or we will go with a contracting flat here for downside. The same choice you have. If you get a correction, put an entry, they drop a little, you'll have to go for break even, right? It's either going to drop straight through and we'll go with the contracting flat, which would be this one. 1, 2, 3, contracting flat. And this goes. Or this go back up, make a new high, and then we go. We're still coming down, right? The question is whether now, because contracting flats, we cannot predict. You can see them, you can make assumption that's a contracting flat, right? You might have enough reasons to believe that's a contracting flat, but you cannot make a prediction based on a contracting flat. That's just a rule, right? Because we don't know that this doesn't come here and doesn't come back here and doesn't go, right? So we will not make assumptions that is a contracting flat. We look at it, said, okay, great. I can see a possibility, but I'm not going to trade based on that possibility. If I take a trade, it will be based on this flag for one more impulse, put the break even. If I'm unlucky, they go back up. If I'm lucky, they drop. Right? Good morning, baby. My son just walked in. 1 second, guys. This is part of working home, the joy. Okay, close the door, please. My son walks in every now and then. I leave the door open so he feels comfortable. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go. Yeah. Just yet. Okay, this didn't go anywhere. It's still going to go down. So let's see. I don't know if any one of you took the trade. If you took the trade, your entry order would be here. You'll be tagged. So this would probably, you will either close for half or you take it as a loss. If you keep your stop here, which is where it should be, wait for it to drop a little more, then close the trade, right? I still think this is just a bigger correction in here forming for downside. I don't see the possibility of them going back up. So they'll probably just do something like this, probably go back there and then drop. We'll get a bigger correction here and then the drop. So if your stop is here, you can wait for a possibility to take out for break even and then look for another entry. Cat Swiss, stay out of this. We'll wait for the buy. We don't have a buy set up as yet. Aussie CAD. Okay, take this. This was the old trade, so let me take it off. It's still not changing. Sometimes they don't change. I'll have to check, see, maybe I have it open on another one, right? So we're coming down back. That means you can get a sell set up here, break this low, take profit, because this is going to go back up. We're still looking for that up trade, right? So I'll put the possibility that they're going to come here, just like this one. This was the trade, right? Remember this trade? You sold it when it breaks that low, you take it off because it's going to go back up. I'll put the same possibility here, that this could come back down. You can break the low, and then we're looking for the upside. This is going to go up, right? So if you don't want to sell and you want to wait for it to come and break the low and then look for the buy, that is okay, right? But you're expecting it to come here because we're making a flag, and then we look for the buy from here. Can this actually go back up? You don't get the sell, go back up and break out? Yes, if it does, then you'll have to either put an entry order here, or you'll wait for another buy setup. Wait for a flag, take the trade, right? Because the bigger trade is to the upside, not to the downside. This is just a small one. Aussie yen, you're going up, but not so fast. So I think we wait until that consolidation is finished. Is it a possible contracting flat here as well? And this is coming down. We wouldn't know that as yet. Take this off. This is just showing you where the low is. Right, so I wouldn't know that is a contracting flat there as yet. There's still a probability of this, just going and make one more up there, because this one had a 1, 2, 3. Go up, make a 1, 2, 3 there, break the top, and then we look for the sell. So I don't know if you like this trade. If you get it, it's a possibility. If it doesn't go, we'll see. It's in consolidation. Best thing when we're not sure what the pattern is on the consolidation, you're not very clear about it, stay away from it. Wait until it's finished. Aussie, New Zealand, this would give you a break even if you take the trade, because you were supposed to keep it for break even. And if you kept it, your break even. Just let's wait and see. If you close it, that's great. That's one of the options. You can close it here, or you can keep it at break even. It didn't go, so what are the chances they might make a new low here and then go? Well, there's a chance, but we don't have a sell set up, so we'll stay away from this one. EuroCAD. If you took the first trade and you kept it, you're doing well. You should close it, because there's a chance that from here they would have gone down. To close, they actually have a big flat here now. We have a big flat in the making. We're getting a flag here. This is a good buy setup. If you get the flag there, now you can take a trade on that one, and the trade you take there will only be to break this top. When it breaks that top, put it in the positive. Right? If you get the trade, it goes, it breaks it up, put it in the positive, because we are still not clear if this is the low, or if this is the low, or even if we make a low, because they're all exactly the same point. Now, one of these could be the low and this is going up, but we don't know that, because it could be that they're still all in some kind of a bigger correction. All of this is some kind of a bigger correction, right? Goes to this level, and then this still comes here before they go. Right? It's still possible. We will relook at the entire structure if that happens. We're looking for the upside, which would be something like this. And that means taking the trade from that point is not a bad idea. Because if it is going to continue to go up from this point, then you're going to be in a good trade. And you're getting a flag there for a buy. You can put an entry order here. With a stop, the stop should not be here, because you're still in that consolidation for running flat. The stop has to be lower, maybe this one, or even all the way here, which means you're just going to have a smaller lot size on, or wait for the flag to break out and then move the stop. Right? Which means I wouldn't put a stopper, because if they tag you and you put a stopper, you'll have to get out before, because the risk of you getting stopped out there will be high. So you'd have to, if they tag you and start to pull back, just close the trade. Because there's a high risk. You'd rather lose 0.1 or 0.2 rather than lose the whole of what you're risking. Euro Swiss. Still not clear with this. I think we still stay away from this. There's another setup here for upside, a short-term trade there for upside, but I still don't like it, so we stay away from this one. And until we get a clear sense of which direction they're going. Euro Oz, okay, we might get a better sense of which direction this is going to go now. Because we'll watch this here at the top of this when they get there. If they start to come down back, any sell setup we get in here, we'll take it. If this continues to go up, it's a very risky trade, right? Because the consolidation is for downside, right? If you're looking at this as the top of the first move up, this is a consolidation for downside. And this one is more at the end of the pattern here. You're in New Zealand. We want them to break the top. And then if they're going to go down, then we're going to, if you want to buy one to the upside, this would be a better one to buy because you're going to get this trade and then down. If this starts to come down from there, we might end up with a contracting flat. Not the best one, not the best contracting flat. So I think we're going to get one more up. I expect this to probably make one more up here. Correction, you make a correction, you go one more up and then you come down. Then we'll look for the trade to the downside. So today, if you're going to get a trade, it's a buy. Euro yen. Okay, not ready for the upside as yet. If you took that as break even, if you're going to take this, it might be break even. You can take it, it might be break even, right? You're expecting this to probably drop. We don't have any buy setup as yet. No buy, no sells. This is short term. If this keeps dropping like that, if it keeps dropping like this and doing this, well, then we will end up getting a buy setup, right? If we get that small channel going down there. Your pound. Okay, now we might consider whether we want to do the buying. Because if you get all of this here as a big flat, this could be one more impulse up. I still don't like the buy. You can take the risk if you want, but I don't like it because of the bigger structure, right? Because of the bigger structure. I still want to see this do this, come back here, and then we buy. All right, let's complete this structure here. And then the buy becomes interesting. So probably buy something else rather than buy this, right? Pang Yen, if you get a buy setup, good idea. If it starts to break out, it's a good idea because we're expecting more up move on this. Pang Swiss, okay, we might be in a bigger flat here right now. I think we could possibly be, we're not selling this at this point, right? Remember, this is the low for an expanding flat. So there's no sell setup. But if this turns out to be a flat and this starts to go up, you could look for a buy setup somewhere in the middle. We don't have the setup as yet. But if that goes up one more, you can look for a buy setup. Really don't have anything to do here. Skip this one. Pound New Zealand. Okay, if you took the first buy, you got out here. If you took the second buy, that's break even. Now we don't have anything. We don't have any trade setup that you want to trade here. Let's see if this makes a bigger consolidation. If this makes a bigger consolidation here, then we would look for upside. All right, we don't have anything to buy. You can't sell it at that point either. Pangos, same here. No trade setup. And this could still be some possibility of some kind of a flat for downside. We don't have a setup for a sell. So stay out of that. Let it consolidate more. Let them give us a clear sell setup. Pankad. Okay, so if you got tagged on this one, you had no chance for break even. And your stop should be here. This is the impulse. This was the correction. That is it. You have to keep it here. And now if this goes back here, take it off a break even. Right, if you get there. You can move that stop to this level now. And what you would do is you wait for this to come here and take it off because it's going to probably do this again and then go. Right? You'll get a flat pattern here before you go. So you'll take it off a break even. You'll look for another entry setup, not the one you're in. Actually, you're getting a small trade up, but this is going to consolidate here. Because of this consolidation here, if it does that, you're going to come back here. It could be a running flat and then come here and then go. But very often they'll just come here and come back. So you might not break it up. New Zealand yen. This one didn't break the top. So the question is, do we look at it as a contracting flat? Again, the same question with contracting flats, right? It's coming down, but I really don't like to take a contracting flat in the middle of the correction. right? Because we don't know that it's a contracting flag. Let them break the low, and then any flag we get after that would be a sell setup. Let it break the low first, then you start selling. If you get the sell setup. New Zealand CAD. Okay, so we broke the top and we're coming down back. Not clear. I don't see what we're going to do there. We don't have anything. This is not a sell setup as yet, right? If this is the top of the whole structure, I think we spoke about that yesterday, right? If that's the top of the structure to come back down, right? If they're going to come back and make a new low here, we don't have a sell setup as yet. So let's take this out and let's go back to the 1 hour. And I don't see a sell setup. It's now moving up like this, so we'll have to wait and see. If this consolidates here, if they consolidate here, right, then we get a sell setup. We don't have one right now. And you're definitely not buying here. Canadian, let's see. We broke the low. I think they broke the low here. This is the bigger low, right? This one is this is the top, sorry. Let me put the low here. We're looking at the low of this one. We can consider it broken. It's kind of come close, a tag. Wait for it to probably give you one more down then. Let this come a little more here. And then we wait for the trade up. If we get a buy here, we'll buy it to break this top. And then we'll look for the trade down. See? So if we get a trade for the buy there, we'll take it. If we don't and they go really fast, well, then we'll be looking for the sell setup. We don't have that as yet. US oil. If you took the sell, you did well, right? So I said you can sell this. If you sell that, you took profit out yesterday. Don't keep the trades. Again, if you get a sell setup today, take it, take the profit off. You want that single drop, take your profit. Same thing here. When it comes to this level, you'll have to be careful because then again, it could be a running flat for upside. Same here. You took the trade, you took your profit, you're getting another sell setup. Good for you, right? Natural gas. It will come down some more, so just leave it alone. Don't trade it. Let it just break this low. Sorry, let me just pull this thing. Let this thing break this low. Take this off. It's not going to go that far. But let it come and break this low, and then we start looking for buy setups to the upside. Let me put it in the weekly so some of you can see what we're looking at. I'm expecting, we broke this low already, so we've got an impulse, we've got a correction, and we're making an impulse. How far this impulse goes, you know, it's anybody's guess. But I mean, it's not going to go into minus, right? Because I don't think these have contracts that you have to buy and deliver, right? I don't think that's how this works. This is not like oil, right? But if it is, then you have to be careful. But basically, this could break the low. We just wanted to break this low in this impulse coming down, break that low. We have a lot of divergence. See the divergence here? Long-term trade to the upside is great. So here's what you can do if you're an investment trader. Find a gas company, a natural gas company whose stock is very low, but who is not going to go bankrupt. But their stocks are very low. And invest. You just invest and wait, right? If you wait long enough, how long it will take you to wait? Let's measure an impulse. Let's find an impulse. This is an impulse down, right? But we would want an impulse up. After they break that low, we want an impulse up. So let's take any impulse. Let's take this impulse. How long this take to happen? So we're expecting this to go back from the low all the way back to this top. So you can measure that. This started when? That was in 14th of February 2019. This is 2019. No, that's 2014 to 16, 2 years. So if you invest in here 2 years from now, maybe even less, you're going to make a ton of money because they will go back to the top, right? They will come back to break these stops because we're expecting that up. Now, is it going to go very fast? If you're lucky. What if they go very slow? Well, if you're using wave analysis to invest and they come here and they do this and then start to do this, you exit. You invest somewhere else. You take out your money, invest somewhere, because they'll do this and then do that and then they'll do this. Every time you get one of that, right? Every time you get one of this and they stop here, you can take out your money if you want. If you don't want to wait through the corrections, you don't want to wait 2 years, right? You notice they make sharp moves and then they go into consolidation, they make a sharp move and then go into consolidation. So you will get a lot of consolidations on the way up. But if you use wave analysis to invest, you're going to do great. S&P 500. Let's go back to we're very close to the top, right? Then just for those traders who will be watching the free webinar, I don't know who looked at, maybe people who were the first time looking at wave analysis or first time looking at Forex, they'll be totally confused if they watch my webinar, because this is very, very complex stuff. So this and this is not a correction. My traders know that immediately, right? So there is a guarantee that this is going to come back here, right? How it's going to come back, we don't know. It could come back fast, it could come back slow, depending on how complex the pattern is going to be. But it's coming back, and we can trade it back down, just like we traded down, we traded up, and we can trade it back down. We know that for sure, because we have seen that happen many times. So it didn't break out. See, this didn't break out. Come here, they come lower. It's going to break out. You're going to get this to go back up here. You might get a better trade, and then you're going to get it to come back here. We're going to look at this to see whether that's a flat. This would be a flat. So either this flat is going to start the down move, or they're going to go back one more and then start the down move. But there's a trade to the upside, and then there's a trade to the downside. So let's go to the 1 hour. Yep, we had it here yesterday because it was here and it didn't break out. So I said you can sell it if you want, but if you sell it, you'll sell it back to this level, right? So once they come back here, even if this drops a little more, you're not selling now. We're waiting for the buy now to go. So this is no longer valid. Take that off. I'm gonna put it on this top so you will gauge where the top is. I don't think they will break the top. If they break the top, that's good news for you, because you know you're gonna come down and go back up again. But if they don't break the top, then what we'll expect is this. Again, is this a contracting flat? I don't think so. I'm not treating it as a contracting flat. That's why I wouldn't be worried about selling it here. But let this drop a little more and then look for a trade to the upside. Right? What if it continues to drop and that is a contracting flat? Well, we will get enough time to trade it later on. Not this trade, not now. The next trade with the next correction. If this turns out to be a bigger correction, let's say this turns out to be something like that. Well, then yes, you can go for this trade, because you're going to enter here. You're going to, when it gets to this low, you're going to put the break even, and then you'll watch to see if it dropped. Then we will go with the contracting flat, because we were expecting this to come here and then go down, right? But it didn't go. So it could be a contracting flat. We don't know that. Next. This one is a normal one, so you should sell. See, this one actually broke the top, and now it's dropping. This is your sell. That was your sell. This is your sell. You can sell this back to the low. So if you want to sell this one. We expect him to come and break this low. This is your trade here today. Don't sell the S&P. Sell this one. Find the ones that have good structure. There are many of them you can find. We only look at a few, right? You find the one that have the good pattern, the good structure, and trade that one. BA, it dropped again. You got to be careful. Like I said, if you sell it, you got to be careful, because as they come closer to this, we're expecting one more up. So if you sell, take profit. This one, this one actually dropped. So we're expecting this to go down, but I thought they'll probably make a flat there before they go. Let's see. Are we in the bigger structure? Let's look at the daily again. Where did this line come from? Oh, from this level. They're going to go break that level. They're actually going already to break that level. See that flat there? So we're looking at this piece to come and break the level. How low this is going to go, that's a good question, because at some point, this might break this low slowly here, and we might start to see an up move going like that. Right? It could be faster, it could be slow, or it could be really fast. But once they come to this level, unless the company collapse, which is not going to happen, right? This is the US, right? They don't allow companies to collapse. So we're going to expect this to go down some more, very little more there. And then you start really looking for buy setups. So let's go to the little piece down back to the 4 hour. Yep, they're going. It's going. I think we were looking at this as a running flat, more of an expanding flat. So this is going. I was looking for a smaller flat here, but it's going. So if you get a flag here, sell. If you get a flag, sell. If you get a flag, sell. When you break this, be careful. You're looking for buy setups, right? Because once they break that, buy setups are going to come in play. 1 hour. you could still get a running flat. So unless you get a flag, don't sell it. If you're already in the sell, put it to positive, right? And then you'll see how that goes. SLR. This one actually makes the flat. This one went the back, so you got a flat here. We can look for a flag here and go for the sell setup. Okay, this one turned out good sell. Well, the traders will be watching this didn't get this sell because this sell was called much earlier. On the sell, we were expecting this to go down more, and it's because we're looking at a reversal point. Let me just show them very fast because they were not aware of this. So we're looking at this. We're looking at this whole structure as the big running flat in there. You've got to move up, you've got a flat, you've got an impulse. We have divergence here, we have divergence here, or this could probably come back very deep. That is our analysis. It could come back very deep. We're getting very sharp reversals points. So on the 4 hour, we actually picked the trade from the top. On the 1 hour, we picked the trade from the top there with a sell setup. That way you saw there was a sell. And it's actually making corrections here, which is good for us. We would like to see this correction happen. It might be a big 4 hour correction, and then you'll get better trades to the downside. So good for you if that correct there for a long time, because the longer it corrects, the better the trade is to the downside. Keep your eyes on it. Nifty? Yep. See why you put it to break even? Because you get break even. So take that out. That was a break even trade. And this one, let's see what happens here. We can't confirm downside as yet. See, this could still come here and still go back up. Remember when we saw this, we said, watch it when it comes to the top. It make a correction, go with it, put it to break even. They come back here, great. If they come back here, they could still go up. So I would still be very careful. We don't have a sell setup. Do we have a sell setup? No, we don't. But you can get a sell setup on this if you get a flag like that. If they make a flag here, you can go with a sell setup. One impulse, put it to break even because it can go back up. But if they drop, good for you, right? But you would put that to break even. Finally, it might be coming down. Finally, this might be coming down because we're looking at this now as a big expanding flat. This could be a bigger expanding flat here. If you start to get sell set up here, go with that trade to break below. Let's see if we have any sell set up. No, we don't have anything as yet. This is just going sideways. Stay away from it. Bitcoin. So we're getting the drop, right? This is why you put it here. And if this was a flag, you trade it, right? That was yesterday's one. You can put an entry if you think it's going to go back up more. But if this turns a flag, you get 1, 2, 3. You can trade it back to test this low. That is a trade. It's not going to go very far down. Let me just show you. We're in a big correction. We're not expecting this to go down very far. We're looking at this big correction here. And if they take this off, let me take this top off. That is useless. And let's take this off. So this is what we're looking at. We have this move down here. We have a move up, a correction, a move up. And this is coming down more corrective than usual. So when this comes here, there's a high probability of them going back up. See this? Very high probability of this going back up. But this might go back up like this piece. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we might get a sharp one down before you go. So you might end up with something like this. And then you will confirm the upside. So let me put that at a daily so you can see it. What you're likely going to get here is you're going to get this. Come slightly down here, go back up there as a three-wave structure. Come back down here, finish off this pattern, and then do this. Because we're doing this now. See? We're doing that. We're going to break this top. And then guess what? I don't know how far they're going to go above that. They could even come to retest that top, but after that, you're coming down because this is the flat in the middle of that structure, right? This is your first impulse in the, what they call the bear market, or for us is the corrective structure. This was your first impulse up. This is the first impulse in the bear market. This is an impulse, correction, impulse in the corrective structure of the bear market. That's why we go with corrective structures, not bear and bull market. Corrective impulse, corrective structure, impulse back down here, and then you're going to see new highs. So there's a trade here to the top there. Once it breaks that top, you got to be careful. How far it's going to go, we don't know. Depends on what pattern you're going to make. They can retest the top. This can work its way up there, retest the top, drop here, and then go back up. That would be a running flat. Now, they might just barely tag the stop, come here, and then go back up. That would be a regular flat. They can don't break the top, come here, and then go back there. That would be a contracting flat in the middle. Right? So I can continue with this. There are many versions. So what we do is we take pieces. You're consolidating here. The good thing is after this consolidation, you're going to go up to this one. So we go back to the 4 hours, and we want this. I would really like this to break the low here today, break this low, and then start that up move. This pattern here, see this flat here? Let me use a different color, red. This one, see this here? This will go back up. It might likely go back up like this. And then we have a sharp one down that we might get back like that. You notice what is the key? Look for buys, look for buys, look for buys. Not sells. You might get sells. Okay, you can take short term, but look for the buys, because the buy, if I'm wrong about this, any one of these can take off like a rocket. Right? This one could be the one that takes off. And I'm wrong about how that pattern will develop. I think that's rare, but let's just give the benefit of the doubt. Well, I'm wrong about it. What are the chances of this dropping to the bottom here? Rare. So I wouldn't take risk selling it here. Right. So you've got an impulse, you're getting a correction, you're going to get another impulse. Do I think this is the end of the structure we're coming down? No. So I think that's pretty clear. Let's go. For the 1 hour trade, wait for buy setups. Let it break the low. Come on, don't do that. Yeah. Let it break this low and then wait for buy setups. They'll probably drop a little more, one more drop, and then start to look for your buy setups. ETH came down back. It actually tagged the top. So I said, well, if they tag the top and come down back, then we would look to see whether we're going to be looking at a more complex pattern. All right, whether this whole thing becomes a more complex pattern. We'll just wait and see. It is still a correction. You're still going sideways. It is just becoming a bigger correction. Right? This one is just becoming a bigger correction. I don't think we're reversing. So this might be just a bigger correction, and then we'll see where it goes from there. As long as it keeps going sideways like this, we're going to get one more up. If this is the start of the fall, this one wasn't aggressive. This wasn't aggressive. If this is started fall, let them break the low, and then make corrections, and then we will sell. Right? Break through, make a correction like that. Break through this pattern shows that you're actually making an impulse to the downside. Make a correction, and then we'll come here. If not, I think they're going to make one more up, and then we might still come here. What is the bigger picture? I haven't looked at the bigger picture. We'll have to check it. Right? Do that the next time. XRP. Yeah, go down first, then go up. Let's see if we're getting the downside. 1 hour. Yep. Remember, I said this is your sell. If you wanted to sell anything, this was the one. Remember, yeah, watch yesterday's webinar if you're not sure about that. Now we broke the low. See that? Perfect for the reversal. Great. Broke the low. Go back up. Wait for your flag. Take your trade. See how they work? Now, if you're new again, you're listening to me say break the low, turn, break the low, go back, break the top, reverse. And you're wondering what the hell is the low and the high has to do with this. Please, guys, if you don't know wave analysis, you don't even know what lows and highs I'm talking about, right? We're looking at the lows and the highs of specific patterns that are going to complete themselves to change direction for the next impulse. Patterns that are corrective structures. So it's not as easy as break a low. You start breaking lows and selling and buying, and you'll get yourself in really big trouble if you're not looking at the right places where the right lows are going to be. So I should put out that warning to traders who are new watching this method. Right? This is the best forecasting method in the world, but you have to know how to use it. So be careful. We know which lows we expect them to break and reverse, and then we know what to wait for to prove that reversal. So yesterday, this was a clear sell. You can see it. Go back, watch the webinar yesterday. LTC. Downside, downside. Does it have more downside to go? I think so. I still think this should go more down. We still expect this to come and break this low. Now, what if they decide to go back up there, make a more complex pattern, and then come? It could possibly be, but I'll not go with the buy here. I'll rather go with the buy with the Ripple, because that's a better buy. That completes a pattern for upside. Even if that is not going to go up now, but make a bigger correction, that's a better buy than this one. If they're all going to fall more, if Ripple is going to go down more and then go up, let's say Ripple will end up making a flag for, you know, more downside. It could still go more down and then go up, right? So what if they make a flag for downside? I'll be selling this one because Ripple is not a good seller, but we don't know how low it's going to go. So the sell would be on this one. Let's see which one works. I think that's about it. So thank you very much. For my traders, this will be in YouTube. I know you haven't, you've seen it already, those of you. You can still go and leave your comment or like it if you want. It might help. The only reason I'll ask you to do that, it might help make the video more visible to traders who haven't seen it, who are not in our group. Right? The more likes it has, probably, I'm not sure how that works, but I believe it might help, you know, get the video up a little more so more people can see it because there are more activities. If you want to watch it again, no problem. That might also help more people to get access to see it. Right? That's the only reason. If you're opening it and it's running and you're watching it, then it might help more people to get it, make it more visible for more traders. That's the only thing. So if you have the time to do that, please do it. And thank you for being here. I would see all of you in later on today, hopefully. Take care. Trade with care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.